Duskvol is a city born of desperate survival. An island of tenuous safety in a world of perpetual darkness, its outer walls crackle with electroplasmic energy, keeping the vengeful ghosts of the Deathlands and cosmic horrors of the ink-stained sea at bay. For now. But not all of this city was lucky enough to fall within the confines of its spirit-warding walls. The Lost District, once the home of Duskvol's elite, was cut off from the construction of the city's second wall, humanity losing ground to the vengeful horrors beyond. This district belongs to the restless dead now, and so too do the fine manor homes that line its streets. But what of the more enterprising members of Duskvol's citizenry, who are perhaps dissatisfied with tenements and factories, a life of meager survival scraped out in a brutal world? There are plenty of treasures to be found in these abandoned streets, should one be cunning enough to avoid its ghostly denizens, or willing to pay their price.
Vale House sits on a prominent corner of the Lost District, a wealthy, well-to-do neighborhood that was abandoned many years ago when the second wall went up around Duskvol. Everyone left, but one family who never left and has not been seen since was the residents of Vale House. They are presumed dead. Now, of course, the Lost District is a popular location for looting. Many things were left behind, and people such as yourselves, enterprising individuals, can find a lot of opportunity there. However, no one has been successful in looting Vale House. You now find yourself standing outside this imposing manor. It seems larger than life, dark windows like empty, void-like eyes in an impossibly quiet street. There are no carriages here, no passers-by. All you hear is the breeze through empty streets. When you made your plan to infiltrate this apparently unlootable house, how did you plan to get inside?
Yeah, I think, Zamira is well connected with some of the studious folk, the academics in the city. So she's gone hunting for old blueprints of this neighborhood and some documentation that could help us.
That sounds like an action roll to me. What kind of action would you like to use?
I'm picturing this as surveying. Looking at the blueprint, looking at the building, circling, consulting.
Sure.
Which I have
Yeah, let's have you roll for survey.
Two.
Okay. Zamira, who did you get these blueprints from?
I think I got them from a drinking buddy who's also an academic. A bit of a friendly rival.
Let's play that out a little bit. You are in a dingy tavern, the usual place you sort of convene with your fellow academics. It isn't too far from Duskvol Academy, so it's convenient for you to meet contacts there. This one you've sort of posted up with near the back of the bar. He already has a beer, and as you slide into the stool next to him, he passes you a small roll of paper. You gonna tell me why you need this?
I'm sure you can piece it together from my request, but if you want me to spell it out, yeah, we're doing it. We're gonna give it a shot. I know some of the other locals, the tryhards here, have tried it out, but Lady Ash, Irina, and myself, your favorite Severosi, are on the case. And we're gonna go for the Veil House.
You know every gang in this city wants that house.
We're not every gang, are we? We're well informed. We're well dressed. We're wearing beautiful gloves, at least one of us.
Didn't say I didn't warn you. And he gets up, walks out of the bar, and leaves.
Can't wait to tell you about it.
You remember this tense conversation you had. You also remember he didn't ask for anything in return, which was odd. You thought maybe he's just storing a favor for later. And now as you unroll these blueprints outside Veil House, you look at them, you look at the house. There is absolutely no way these are the blueprints for this house.
Bastard.
And then you flip back a corner of this paper and you notice a small scrawled note. Sorry. So, that didn't work.
Well, I report back, sadly, that didn't work. You know, the competition between academics is a little gross. We should have each other's backs here. He should have been honored to help out with this.
So here you all find yourselves. Day of the heist. Evening approaches. Standing outside what you assume is an abandoned home in a world chock full of ghosts. No idea of the layout, but you know what? There's the front door, and there's anything but the front door. Take your pick.
Yeah, can I just prowl around the outside?
Yeah.
Just see if I see anything of note? Okay. I only have one dot. The 4.
You notice as you prowl around the house, this does not feel like an abandoned house. It looks quite clean. It looks quite well maintained. You even think you see a glint of lamplight through some of the windows. Windows are clean and clear, nothing broken or out of place. There's a small back door, sort of around the corner and near the back of the house. This house has many points of entry. None seem guarded. You haven't checked if they're locked. However, as you are prowling, you've turned the corner alone. No one else can see you. But you see movement. You see movement from a window up above, second floor. Looking down, small, pale face. Looking at you. For a second you think it's just a child, and then you are sure that's you. That's you. But also it's a child, and it's not you. You are encountering a spirit. You know this feeling. You've encountered a lot of spirits. You work in that world. Your natural instinct in this moment is overpowering, as it is every time. You can freeze, you can flee, or you can roll and try to do neither of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna resistance roll. Heck yes.
Okay.
Is that just one die?
So, yeah, this is going to be resolved.
Oh, I got a 5.
Okay, that's great. You do resist, and you only take 1 point of stress. Lady Ash, you have found multiple points of entry. Whatever you want to try. It does not seem guarded, but it does seem odd.
You know, I have a certain affection for my compatriots, but I am just going to, while still by myself, just see what happens if I try to enter that back door.
Yes, you are. Yep, it's already done. It happens. You reach for the door. It opens. No problem. Creaks open. Looks a bit dark inside. You could see there is an oil lamp burning inside, surprisingly. You see 2 small single-person, tidy beds.
An odd place to have a bedroom.
Looks like servants' quarters.
That makes more sense.
Lady Ash, do you step inside?
Oh no. I mean, yeah, I do. I'm guessing that's the wrong decision.
There are no wrong decisions here. There's only a story. You step inside, the door closes behind you, and you are in the beautiful front hall of a manor home. You are not in the servants' quarters. You're in the front hall.
Wow.
What's clearly a front hall. There's a beautiful staircase, wood-paneled walls, big grandfather clock ticking away.
Pretty nice.
The front door
Yeah.
behind you clicks and creaks open just a bit. Zamira and Irina, you see this.
I got in.
Did you walk? How? Where did you come from?
I came in through the servants' hall, but then the door closed, and now I'm here. So, I think the people who were the spirits, maybe they like me, right? They like me here. I can tell. You guys should just come on in. Everything seems fine.
Maybe they brought you to the front door to ask you to leave.
Oh, I doubt it. People never ask me to leave. I'm the life of the party. It's fine. Come on in.
I go in.
This is what we are here to do, yes.
Changing floor plan is very irregular. Taking notes, writing things down, beginning my study of this ice.
Always academia with you, yeah.
Well, Jareth tried to screw me, so at the least I have to have a good article coming out of this.
As each of you step inside, it's depending on your background, one of the nicest places you've ever been, at least in recent times. It's so clean. You haven't been this clean in a while, in a place this clean in a while. And as you step inside, the door clicks shut behind you gently. It's quiet, it's warm and comfortable. Beautiful, intricate rugs cover the floor. The grandfather clock is ticking away. Now, let's talk about why each of you are really here and what you're after in this beautiful, unlooted home. How did you find yourself here? Which one of you first heard about this house, and who did you hear about it from?
Yeah, I'm playing Lady Ash. She's relatively tall. She's got red robes and glowing yellow tattoos all over her. She's sort of known as someone who deals in secrets, can get things done. She sort of has a shady past. And she's from, what's the name of it? I should know this. Uluvia. So she's from a sort of distant land where she was associated with some nobles. And I don't know if you guys know why she's no longer there. But you know that she has some connections to some spirits and is kind of sneaky about that. I think I heard about it from my good friend Briel. He's not the kind of person I usually interact with. He's a little bit been more in the underground than I like to generally cavort with. He may or may not deal in illicit substances, but he is very useful for information. So I visit him every once in a while just to hear what the scuttlebutt is around those who are powerful in the city. And
I'm going to have you make a roll to see how much information he had, or at least how much he gave to you. What kind of action would you like to use?
Oh, could I use study for what he had
Yes,
provided me with them? Okay. I only have one. And it's a 6.
Hey! Amazing. You meet Brill at the usual place. It's kind of a flop house, but nicer than some you've seen. You find yourself sort of delicately perched on a questionable stool. Brill in an armchair, leaned back, feet up. Lady Ash. You know, I heard a story the other day I thought you might like.
What was that?
You know the Lost District.
Of course.
You know how it's picked clean.
That's what I've heard.
Not so. There is one house. It's called Vale House. No one has touched that house.
Why would that be if everything else has been so picked clean?
No one knows. Plenty have tried. They don't come back or they come back crazy.
Well, plenty is not me. Interesting.
And you know what? I couldn't find the name, oddly enough. No one knows the name of that family. Seems strange. Seems ghosty. But people remember that family. They remember the man of the house. Big shot academic at one time. I guess he got kicked out years ago. No one will say why. Maybe they don't remember. Professor of spectrology. Figured out all sorts of things. And then I guess he figured out something people didn't like. So he was a pariah. He didn't go to school anymore. People stopped seeing that family come out of that house. Now it's like they never existed. But everyone left the Lost District. And they didn't leave. And that house just sits there. And imagine what a spectrologist who discovered all these things might have in his house.
That is intriguing. And there is someone I work with from time to time who just say the word academia and she gets pretty excited. I think this is something I could pursue.
Zamira, when you heard however much of that from Lady Ash, what piqued your interest? Why are you here?
I will be playing Zamira, who is a young woman. She's tall and also pale and I wouldn't say bony, but wiry, with kind of short, light blonde hair that's kind of greased back, and she wears a big long coat, and she's a spider, so she's like an occult academic. She's the youngest child of a merchant family that didn't have to worry at all about getting into the family business. So pursued her interests with local spirits, and I think she's doing these kind of heists because she's into it, not because she's in any kind of desperation or anything like that. She's just out to keep on learning little secrets about the supernatural. Zamira is a field researcher. She draws a line of arrogance between those that would go out and do it themselves and those that would sit back at the academy. So she's out to crack new ground. The idea of being first is very exciting. Lady Ash, you were right to bring this to me, and I couldn't be more excited. And I think I have a friend who can help us do some planning.
So, Irina, when you heard all of this from Zamira, what motivated you to join this little heist?
I'm playing Irina Volkova. She is a Skavlander, a former spy. After the end of the Unity War, she was exiled from her homeland to Duskvol, where she's fallen into a life of petty crime. She's very pale, slight, bony, kind of brooding. Her alias is Irina Volkova, as a full name is just one in another series of spy aliases that she would have had. This is the one she settled on lately. She's a whisper. I think she saw some very heavy stuff during the war. I think her family suffered greatly, and ever since she's been able to, or forced to at times, become more aware of the supernatural presence around her.
That's cool.
She's really fun at parties.
Yeah.
Irina doesn't have much of an opinion of academics either way, although one thing she strongly feels and probably wouldn't say out loud to Zamira is that spectrology as a field is misguided at best. The arcane is meant to be understood by the soul, not the brain. It defies rational thought. That's the whole point. Regardless, she has her own agenda. She urgently requires objects of arcane significance or power for reasons of her own. This relates to her vice, which is weird. Irina's got some personal problems that she needs to solve with supernatural forces. So if she can get a share of goods here that will help her with that, she's happy to go along with whatever the other two need her for.
So we have academic pursuits, occult, personal issues. Lady Ash, what do you want from this house? Why are you here?
I would say after I spoke with Brill, I did my somewhat regular communion, is that the word? Communing, with my mysterious fire spirit, to my knowledge, unnamed, but someone that I feel a deep connection with. And while the spirit does not always communicate with me directly, when I brought up the idea of pursuing this quest, or at least looking into this house, I got this deep sense of urgency within myself. And that's sort of how it tends to communicate with me and tell me what to pursue and what not to pursue. So I don't necessarily know why, but I know that I am being guided towards whatever mysteries lie within Vale House.
Faith. Interesting.
In a sense.
Interesting motivator. So everyone knows I'm starting a few clocks. You're in this entry hall, this foyer. It's beautiful, clean, gleaming grandfather clock ticking away. You see double doors to your left, double doors to your right, a smaller door on the wall ahead of you. As you are standing here contemplating your reasons for coming to this home, wondering which direction to turn first, where to look, the tick of this clock gets louder. It gets louder and starts to reverberate. You feel it in your bones, in your teeth. I think they're going to shatter as it ticks. All of the warmth in the air is gone. You didn't even notice it till it was gone, but there was this smell in the air that you maybe have never smelled before, or it's been a long time, of cooked meat, of fresh vegetables, of some sort of fruit pie, you're pretty sure. That is gone as well, and you are overwhelmed with the smell of decay and must. The house still looks perfect, but your senses are being attacked. And then this scream pierces the air. You can't tell where it's from. Is it the scream of a woman, a child, an animal? And the clock strikes the 12th hour, dusk. The air stills. Everything looks exactly the same, but it does not feel the same anymore.
Is the clock striking dusk too much time, or does that time make sense for us? Is that the time we were outside?
It's a little fast. You don't know where the time went. Maybe you spent more time outside than you thought. You thought you had a little time before dusk.
Do you still think, Lady Ash, that we are invited guests here?
I mean, I'm not used to not being invited places. It's just hard for me to imagine anyone not wanting my company, if I'm honest. So there's something going on, but I can't imagine it's that.
And Zamira, you're quite certain you have absolutely no idea of the layout of this place?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain of that. I'd say whatever my judgment on the path ahead is, we should do the opposite.
Stupendous, ladies.
Well, what did you bring to the show tonight, Irina?
Actually, Irina wants to approach the clock.
Go ahead.
And I want to examine it and see if I can tell if it has any power, if it's being affected by what's happening, or if it's some kind of anchor or source of what's happening.
Let's see. What kind of action would you like to use to gather information?
Study would make a lot of sense to me. I would be willing to push myself for this.
Great. Take a point of stress. Get an extra dice. I'd say
right.
Standard effect, controlled action.
Make the study roll. Glad I pushed myself. I have a single 6.
Okay. You're taking a look at this clock. It's a clock. It's a very nice clock. It's clearly well maintained. You've never seen one this large, actually. It works on clockwork, so it has to be hand wound. There's no electricity or other power source being used here, which makes you wonder who's been winding it. However, with that 6, you're observing this clock, you're looking at its face, and the seconds are ticking by. And then the seconds are ticking by. And then the seconds are ticking by. And this clock isn't making progress. You're watching it make progress, but it's like you look away for a second, and it's the same seconds. It's the same seconds over and over and over. You don't think the clock is causing it, but the clock is definitely affected by something.
I wonder, my dear companions, if perhaps this hour of dusk is significant in the souls of the people who were left here. Perhaps it was that time that scream was uttered?
Are we still, those smells, are they still happening, or is that sort of like a waft that happened all at once?
The smell, you're becoming used to it, but there is a sort of drifting waft of still a hint of that rot and just a lot of must. It smells like a very old abandoned house that something died in, but it doesn't look like it.
I wonder if the professor had some sort of workshop or laboratory.
The double doors to your left click open and just creak ever so slightly.
And you said we weren't welcome.
After you, Zamira?
You step through these doors. It's an office. It's a lovely office. Dark wood desk. Lots of notes. Lots of books. Fairly organized, but arranged in a way that makes you think someone was in the middle of working on something. There's a fireplace with a comfy chair. There's a fire burning. And oddly, you see on this desk a large pad of paper with a few notes on it, and there's a pen still writing across this pad of paper.
Zamira, you're probably most likely to be able to make sense of whatever that pen is writing.
I'm going to survey this ghost pen then.
Okay.
For 5.
You lean in a bit closer. You have to sort of walk around this desk, see what's being written on this pad of paper. And as your eyes land on the ink scratched, it's words, but it's like it's slipping off your brain. Like you can't... Maybe it's a language you don't read. Maybe you suddenly forgot how to read. What is words? This is... What you know is what's being written doesn't make any sense. But what does make perfect sense to you is the whispers you hear. The whispers you hear are coming from behind you, where there is a bookcase.
Anybody else hearing that?
Hearing what?
Yeah, I just see a pen, a magic pen.
The bookcase is whispering to me. Ladies, shall I?
Oh, sure.
Politely, I should hope.
Never anything but. I would like to use I'd like to roll for consort with the bookcase.
Nice.
And try to respectfully glean its intentions toward us.
Roll consort. I love that.
Please. 5.
The bookcase is so glad you're here. These whispers, you feel a sense of pressure, sort of internal psychic pressure, as something gently, politely, you proverbially knocked on this thing's door, and it's welcoming you in. You feel this gentle prod in your mind, and it travels back to your memories. Still polite, still not forcing, not harmful even. Feels strange. And it starts looking for one memory in particular. Now, everyone has memories they don't want to think about, that you perhaps actively have to try not to think about. It is answering your knock with a knock of its own on the door of that memory. What door is it knocking on?
I think it's knocking on the door of a childhood memory of getting lost in a crowd and the way that feels when you're a child. Suddenly you're holding on to someone's coat, not your mom's hand. Everyone's taller. There's loud noises. There's animals. There's dust in the air. It's finding a memory of terror and of a loss of control and lack of understanding.
This force, it's knocking on this door. It's not forcing its way in. It hasn't seen this memory yet. It just knows you put a door in front of this memory. And you feel a sort of offer being made. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to keep that memory. It'll take it. It'll take it off your hands. It doesn't hurt it at all. And in exchange, it'll give you something better. It'll give you something new.
And Zamira is driven by great ambition. So, with respect and politely, she says, "Show me what you got."
The door flies open in your mind. And Irina and Lady Ash, you see a panel fly open on the bookcase, a hidden panel. Who knows if or when you would have been able to find it. A stack of texts behind it. But Zamira, you don't even need to read those, because in that dark little corner of your mind that you never wanted to look at, what was there is gone. There's no dusty street. There's no scared little girl all by herself. There is knowledge, and knowledge has always been your savior. There is knowledge of spirit wells. Just tiny little tears in reality. Just a quick dip into the ghost field and the power that is generated from those. And you know this, ghost wells are, spirit wells are extremely sought after and valuable, but no one's ever made one. Could make one. The papers that, as your vision clears, you now see in front of you, they'll help. They'll show you. You can make one. Someone already made one. And his work is right here. I need you to take a level 1 harm.
Okay.
Or you could choose to resist.
No, I'll take a harm. That seems fair.
You're okay with the harm? Okay,
I am.
we're gonna call... Let's see, what would be a good word for the level 1 harm we just gave you? I think obsessed is too strong for level 1. We're gonna call it distracted. So...
I relayed those findings about the spirit well. Someone having made it. And I think I can make it now. And I'm thinking about that a lot.
Cool. You have those papers now if you choose to take them.
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Sure.
The pressure in your mind very suddenly pulls away, lessens, like a polite guest leaving before they overstay their welcome. The pen on the table drops. You can now clearly read the writing. It's scribbles. It's scribbles. You don't know why it bothered you so much before, or why it confused you so much. There is the door you came from, which goes back to the foyer, or there is another door to your left. This one's open. It leads to what looks like a games room or a billiards room, perhaps a library.
I say we keep going. I mean, we've seen the foyer. I mean, this room treated you pretty well, right? I mean, you seem a little harmed, but mostly good things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, before in the foyer when the house turned, we heard a female scream. Is that right?
You think so?
I'm just thinking we don't know yet, like the makeup of the family, the residents who lived here. So before we move on, I'd just like to cast my eye about the office and see if there's anything that kind of suggests who actually lived here. Like if we can start getting an actual name or any kind of sense of relation or anything.
I don't think we'd be hidden. There is, oddly, among all these academic papers, a sort of dog-eared spare piece of parchment with a sort of stick figure drawing upon it of 3 small stick figures and 2 big stick figures, everyone with a big happy smile.
It says ideas for bumper stickers.
But behind all of those stick figures, just scribbles. Like a child took a piece of charcoal and just scribbled as hard as they could in the very center.
And I think maybe now's a good time. I didn't mention it earlier. I went into a room and then it was a different room. I did also see when I was outside, maybe myself as a child through a window. That might have been what I saw. I'm not entirely sure, but
What?
you know.
You
Yeah,
saw
I mean,
yourself?
Yes.
You neglected to tell us there was someone in the house?
Well, a lot was happening. You were telling me the house was trying to get me to leave, and then you came in, and then doors, and then screams and smells. You know, it's been a lot.
Where in
I'm
Duskvol
telling you
did
now.
you grow up?
Where
You
did
are
I grow up?
Iruvian, are you not?
I'm a Ruvian. Yeah, I grew up in a houses very much like this. I was quite a privileged child. People recognized my abilities very young, and I walked in some pretty important circles until certain things transpired, and I found myself here. So maybe that's why I'm not as thrown off, because I feel a little bit more at home. And I'm used to seeing beautiful children in windows. They just usually don't look as nice as me. And that one did. So,
Thank you for sharing that.
yes.
Well, we know that you're welcome here because you're already here.
Exactly.
I'm going to tear off the piece of parchment that has a little doodle on it and tuck it within my coat and suggest we move on to the games room.
You enter the games room. Nothing happens. You're in the games room. There is another fireplace. It's lovely. It's well lit in here. There are sort of sconces on the walls that you believe to be arcane powered. There's a sort of blue flickering arcane light. There's a large billiards table, lots and lots of shelves of more books. There's a small bar with what looks like a dark brackish liquid in a bottle. And a game of billiards has begun. As you step through, there is a crack of one of the balls hitting another, and many of them sort of bounce across this table. And it takes your eyes a moment to adjust, but there is the outline, the vaguest shadow of some male figure holding a cue and has just sort of begun this game. He turns. Who walked through the door first?
I think it was Irina.
I think I did in this instance.
I think it was too. This shadow looks at you, holds out the pool cue. Is it still a pool cue in billiards? We'll never know. Holds out the stick and just waits.
She's not as thrown by this as maybe she should be. She's pretty decent at billiards. I think it's popular in Skovlan, her native home, and these ghosts being like polite and courteous and everything still being very cordial. Of course, I can play a game of pool with our host. Maybe we could even try to wager, get some information out of this specter if we win.
I would like to assist.
Ooh.
Great. How do you assist?
I think there's no reason a spectrologist wouldn't also be pretty good at math. I think I'm just consulting on some of the angles. I'm pointing out areas where you can make a nice bounce, helping you call your shots.
That's going to be an extra dice. Rather than just an action roll, I think we will do a fortune roll just to see how the whole game goes.
Is there anything else we can do to influence that?
You could tell me what kind of action you want to add your bonus to that makes sense for playing billiards.
I think it's a largely mental game. I would say it's insight.
Sure. What do you have for insight?
Yeah, 2 would be the score.
Cool. So it's going to be 2 dice plus 1 for Zamira helping you. I don't think there are any significant advantages or disadvantages here. That's 3d6. You have a very good chance of winning the game. Why don't you go ahead and roll these 3d6?
Sure. So Irina is taking this cue. She's shrugging off her long black coat to reveal a long black dress underneath, but a little more mobility. She's kind of striding around the far side of the billiards table while keeping her eyes locked on this shadowy form. And like a good former spy, as she kind of bends down in front of the table and looks up at her host, she says, "If I make these shots, perhaps we have a conversation?" And without waiting for an answer, I think she's just gonna shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah, it's a 6, 5, and 4.
Nice.
Wow! That's great. So, you go through this game of billiards with this shadowy figure. It's not a long game. Doesn't seem that good at it, honestly. And you win in short order. However, as you are playing, this is a good game. You should play this more. You should play this game more often. You're so lucky to have this house. This nice library, this games room, your wife in the next room, kids are upstairs. It's so relaxing to play this game. You're pretty sure you were doing something. Were you doing something? Were you busy? You have a choice here, Irina. You are getting a bit lost. Your sense of self is drifting away. However, that little scrap of yourself that's still hanging on here, you can either attempt to pull out of this sort of reverie, or you can lean in a bit, because you're pretty sure you're seeing through the eyes of this ghost. You're pretty sure you're seeing his life. You could learn something, but it feels like choosing to jump off a cliff and you can't see what's below you.
It's such a natural impulse for someone who has worn so many identities and had to play so many roles to step into yet another. And what is that but a way to get deeper information that you couldn't get as yourself? So it's as natural as breathing for her to just always have been comfortable in this games room playing at this billiards table.
You lean in. I need you to... What's this going to cost you? This is, again, level 1 harm. This is very similar to what just happened. And we are going to call it distracted. Now, you're about to gain some information, but what Zamira and Lady Ash see is the ghost that you were playing with lessen, fade. And in a matter of seconds, it's like he was never there. And Irina has stepped into his position. She's playing against herself. And she does not seem interested in stopping. Irina, as you play this game, you think of the dinner you're about to have. You wonder what the cook has made. She's an imposing woman, a bit brusque, but she's a good cook, and she keeps that servant boy in line. He's an odd one. You're a bit worried about him, actually. Seems dark, distracted. You thought you caught him in one of your books the other day. You thought you caught him trying to sneak into the attic, where everyone knows you're not supposed to go. Anyway, you're playing pool, and unless somebody wants to do something about it,
I want to do something about it. I'm going to push myself because I want to slap Irina and command her to get out of it. Snap out of it. But I don't have any dice in there. So do I take a stress? Is that right?
Yeah, you can push yourself in exchange for 1 point of stress, which means it's now a straight d6 roll.
4.
You slap Irina across the face. And Irina, something is forcibly ejected from your mind, and it hurts. It hurts a lot. You were already going to take level 1 harm. We talked about that. The house, I'm going to tick a clock forward. The house, for just a moment, shudders. And there's a screech. Not the one you heard before. Something much stranger and much angrier. And it comes from everywhere. It comes from the house itself. Just for a moment. It's just a moment, but you got something's attention, and it did not like that you took away its friend. But Irina, remember who you are.
Irina stares at you, her eyes flashing, the mark of your palm still red on her cheek, and she says, in a voice very unlike her own, "How dare you place your hand on the master of this house?"
Hey.
What, Lady Ash, what, huh?
You didn't seem like yourself there. I thought maybe I'd snap you out of it, but then it seemed to like make it worse for a second. But you're back now, maybe?
I was shooting pool with the ghost.
Were you shooting pool with the ghost, or were you yourself and the ghost? It seemed like you got a little caught up. It just did. I didn't think it was good, although I got the feeling maybe the house is a little mad at us now. But also,
I'm a little mad at you now.
Well, that's fair. I am stronger than I look. At least my nails are short. You know, it didn't scratch you at all. But you're back. That's good, right? We want you to be back.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be friends with the house, but not become the house.
Maybe you should play with the next piece of furniture we find.
Sure. I'll go into the next room. I'll take the lead.
Okay, speaking of,
Yeah.
there are no other doors leading out of the library. It seems like the study is the only connecting, or the office you came through is the only connecting room. You'll have to go back out through the foyer. Then you have a couple choices. You have a door that pretty obviously leads to... Make sure I got this right. Nope, you have one choice. Sorry.
Or we could leave.
You are welcome to try. You walk back into the foyer, and as you're headed for the doors across the foyer to the other side, they're open. And there's a sitting room through there, quite obviously. You see tea set out. The odd thing is, there's something new in the foyer you didn't see before. It is a long streak of blood. Like something being dragged, and it is actively dragging in motions across the floor. And the oddest thing about it, if it can be stranger than this, is that it seems to dead-end this trail of blood into a wall. Into the wall under the stairwell, which just kind of dead ends there.
Before going over to the sitting room, I'm going to go over to where it is on the wall and sort of put my hand against it, and could I study it? Just see if I get any sort of, like, do I see anything off place or get any sensations when I'm near it?
Yeah, study is a great choice for this. I'm going to say standard effect, controlled. This isn't
Okay.
risky at all.
6.
Nice.
Wow. You go to lean in on this door, and it's almost like you instinctively place your hand on a certain panel. Perhaps, being as observant as you are, you've noticed just a slight impression, as if it's been pushed a few times. And as you press your hand there and you press in just a bit, there's a click, and then the panel pops, and a door clicks open.
Well, this seems like we have to go here, right? You guys?
Yes.
Right? Yes? Okay, yep. I'm going to open the door. Go on in.
But if we're regrouping a bit, it seems like holding on to our senses of self is going to be super important tonight.
Yes.
I
Okay.
have a feeling that I've already ceded some ground there. Pretty good trade, I think, nonetheless. But I'm gonna hand Irina something that I stole from you, that you knew I stole from you, but you never took back, which is a photo of you and someone else that you can try to keep your sense of who you are a little closer as we go forward.
She places it into a spot in her handbag where it was quite obviously missing. Something was meant to go there.
Oh boy, I'm glad no one ever steals anything from me. Okay, let's go. Walk into the next
No,
room.
wait.
You descend down these stairs following the confident Lady Ash. Stairs are creaky. They're not quite as nice as the rest of the house. You get the sense this is more of a servant's passage. It's not a part of the house meant for guests to view. You're going down. You're headed down into what you have to assume is some sort of basement. And as you reach the landing and see the room in front of you, it is a mushroom farm, which is fairly common to find in basements and crawl spaces of fine manor homes, because mushrooms are a very reliable food source here. And this one is doing super well. Multiple mounds of mushrooms sprouting, even after all this time.
Brill would love this.
The unique design to this room is that it's also an eel farm. They have dug sort of trenches along the outer edges of the room and filled it with water, and there are quite obviously eels living here. They're probably keeping it as a meat source. Eels are the easiest meat to come by here. They are very active. You imagine they must be feeding off the mushrooms. As you take this in, light is dim here, but there are a couple of oil lamps placed, still lit. You step into this basement space, this mushroom farm with these trenches of eels surrounding it, mounds of mushrooms sort of along the edges, as if ringing the room. There are six mounds, and as you leave the last step, something shifts under one of those mounds of mushrooms. I'd say one of the smaller ones. There's a shift, and a skeletal hand pushes its way through the plant material before the whole thing gives way, and the desiccated remains of some small person sit up, immediately followed by the shifting of the 5 other mounds. You can see, as they all move from their makeshift graves, rings upon rings of glowing runes under each of them. What are you doing?
The child-shaped skeleton, it's fully a skeleton. There's no remnants on it of like hair or skin or anything.
It's not particularly clean.
Yeah. Ugh.
But it is very, very, very decayed. I'd say there are strings of dry, tight flesh in a few places. Maybe a couple strands of hair. But it's old, and the mushrooms have done their work.
And they've already seen us, I assume, because they're reacting to us. Like, they reacted...
They seem to be turning in your direction.
Okay, alright. Too late to probably pretend to be something else. Hello? Is this your house? Did I see one of you in the window? Was it you? You're small. I saw someone small in the window.
The little girl skeleton seems to sort of turn its head and listen to your words, and then sort of reach out a hand, standing up, reach out a hand, sort of stumble forward, the runes underneath glowing. They're almost, it's like you can almost see these tendrils of energy reaching for the skeleton, almost pushing it forward from the runes to the body. And she stumbles towards you.
There are 5?
There are 6.
Ooh.
She's going to attempt to place her hand on your wrist, Lady Ash.
You said she was dirty?
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I love that that's your problem with it.
I'll just sort of allow it, but I wince a little bit.
At the moment she touches your skin, something attempts to displace you in your body. It is trying to possess you. You're going to have to, unless you just feel like sharing your body for a bit, you will have to attempt to resist this.
I'm going to attempt to resist it. I just slapped something out of an Irina. All right.
This is going to be, I believe, resolve. It's going to be a resolve for this roll.
Can I assist on a resist?
Yeah, how?
Yes, it's all real time. I don't know if you want help, but I'm gonna help you.
No, please do.
I'm just gonna be, I'm behind you, I'm popping out, I'm in your ear when I see what's going on, and you've told me about your patron, for lack of a better word, the fire spirits, so I think I'm just gonna talk to you in your ear, but we said that, I don't think this is what your spirit friend would want for you. I think you better hold on. We've, field research is one thing, but this is a little much. So I'm just trying to keep you focused on who you are outside of this house.
So do I roll one more, or does Zamira? I can do words.
You will add another dice to your dice board.
Okay. Ooh, that one was a 6.
Nice.
Hey, what were the others?
3 and 4.
Okay, it's better that you got a 6.
Yes.
Lady Ash, this little girl, is it a little girl? It's just you. Why would you be afraid of you? And then Zamira's voice cuts through, and it is enough to just jolt you for a moment and pull your wrist away. The little girl almost stumbling in front of you as she cries out in disappointment and anger. And now the other bodies, the possessed bodies, are stumbling towards you. You see 3 adults, 2 additional children, and they are reaching for all of you. Their skeletal fingers pulling at you. Their psychic force pressing on your minds.
I want to compel them all to stop in their tracks.
I would love to see that.
I have a special ability.
Okay, I would call this, because it's your special ability, if it works, it's going to work really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I want it to work quite badly. I'm feeling pretty unsafe here. I would push myself unless you have a bargain to offer.
I would love to offer a bargain. I'd say you'll be much, much more convincing if you... What they want is to live. What they want is a living body to inhabit. If you are willing to give them, one of them, a taste of that, it might make them a little less desperate. I would say if you allow a partial possession for a few moments, which will cause you... I mean, I established it in canon, you would take a level 1 harm. But I would give you a controlled position, great effect, and no more attempts to possess.
Okay. And bonus die or no?
No bonus die, yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty good deal. I think I've got room for a little more harm. Yeah, Irina's going to step forward. She's going to brandish. I don't think we're doing too much with like load, but let's say I took some arcane implements. I think we haven't needed my climbing gear yet. We've been pretty chill. But I'm going to brandish this intricate silver amulet that I wear around my neck, and sort of force them back and enter this kind of, I guess, this dialogue or negotiation with one of them. I'd like it to be the master of the house, because there was that connection previously. That is double sixes, baby.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yes! Okay. Amazing. This is perfect. Okay. What do you say out loud as this happens? What's your, command word?
Hold.
You say this, hold. It rings out in this cavernous room. And the bodies, these possessed skeletons, pause for a moment. How do you indicate? The skeleton nearest you, it's one of the taller ones. It's looking at you with intent. It feels familiar to you. I think it's the man you're looking for. How do you indicate to him that you're willing to compromise?
I sense your hunger. If I sate it for a moment, you will not force yourselves upon us, and let us move freely in this place.
This creature, this spirit, is so desperate, it would probably say yes to anything for a few moments of feeling alive. In a living body, breathing, blood pumping, flesh. And gently, he places his skeletal hand on your upper arm, as if in a friendly embrace. And you feel again that familiar spirit now just press upon a small part of your mind. And as he sighs in relief and takes a breath with your lungs, you feel for a moment like a storm of memory, of experience, and of terrifying final moments. In a strange mix with home, with family, with things as they should be, sitting around a dining room table, laughing, talking, beautiful dinner in front of them. The door creaks open behind him. Something cold steals his life as he watches in horror and terror as his world is shredded in front of him. And that's the last thing he remembers. Dining room. Cold steel. As he keeps his word and pulls back from your mind, it is like, whether intentional or not, those skeletal fingers carve across your mind, and you are tempted to scream in pain. Do you? Do you attempt to hold it in?
No, she lets it out.
This scream reverberates. You're going to take another level 1 harm. You are carrying trauma that isn't yours. You just call it traumatized.
Sure.
You will now be affected by that experience as if it happened to you.
Whoa.
Now, the rest of you, as this is all happening in moments, you see those runes on the ground, eels thrashing around them, mushrooms disturbed, rot and decay everywhere. Those circles upon circles of runes carved into the stone floor, glowing with electroplasmic energy. And you see that same electroplasmic energy. It's like you see clearly for just a split moment in this moment of shared reality. This house is abandoned. It is decrepit. It is cold. And it is being kept in a false life by this energy pulsing from the runes on this floor up all the way through the house to something above and back down and up and back down. That same energy flowing from the runes to these skeletons, presumably animating them, allowing the departed spirits to remain tethered to them.
Does it give me anything spirit well-esque from what I internalized from my talk with the bookcase?
Would you like to make an action roll about it?
I would like to make a roll about it, yeah. I don't know if that... I think that's survey. Actually, that's exactly what that is. I would like to survey that, please.
I would say survey or attune or...
And I would like to push myself as well. I want to know what the deal is here.
Yeah, so take a stress.
Ooh. 4.
How do you survey? Where do you go? What do we see on screen?
I think, first of all, I do, say, Irina, are you okay? That was pretty freaky.
Upstairs, in the attic. Don't make me go to the dining room, please.
Okay. We'll get back to that. Okay. And I'm distracted, so can't really hash that out with you. So I think I'm kind of walking away from Irina and just like leaning out to look over the eel trench at the runes.
You are leaning over these eel trenches. These runes, you recognize them. You recognize them from the papers you took from upstairs. This is one tiny little fraction of the process of opening what should be a very small, controlled spirit well. But these are extensive. And that little part of you, that shadow filled, feels sated by this idea, joyed by it. It would be such a feast to have a spirit well this open, this powerful. Just the rush of energy that is in front of you, flowing through this house. You don't know why you didn't see it. It's like you could suddenly see magnetic fields. It's like you suddenly have this extrasensory perception. Someone broke open that spirit well, and they needed bodies, and they needed a ritual, and they did it here. And now energy is just glowing. You are studying these runes, and you're over the eel pits. We got to do something with the eels, y'all. And that was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
These are, you realize now, not normal eels. These are eels that have lived in the most bizarre occult ritual in a deeply haunted house for however long it's been since this district was abandoned. An arc of electroplasmic energy. You see shoots between 2 of the eels, as if everything is electrified. They are zapping. These are electric eels. And they, one of them doesn't like how close you have come to their food source. It's going to thrash at you with its many rows of teeth and its electric body. And you're going to take a level 1 harm. Sorry, buddy.
Okay.
We're going to say electrocuted. But just a little. You are going to have... Your hand still works, your arm still works, and it'll probably heal okay. But your arm is quite hurt, and you see a lightning scar on your arm.
Oh, it looks like my tattoos. That's actually very flattering.
It looks really cool. It's only level 1 harm. It was just a little zap. But that hand's going to be pretty tingly, and I'd say trying to do anything finicky is going to be a little difficult until you get that taken care of.
Okay. And those are both of my level 1 harms.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Ooh. Lady Ash sitting over there untouched.
Zamira's just looking in, and you hear, this is it for me. This is it. Everyone's gonna lose it. Everyone at the Academy's gonna lose it. This is incredible. We're in it. We're in the spirit well. This is it. This is what's going on. And just, animatedly relaying what's just come together here. And smoking all the while.
Small fire on one fingernail.
This is it. This is it.
You also know, because of your deep understanding of this ritual and what it has done, that little part of yourself wants you to keep it intact, to caretake it, to grow it. You also know if you were to disrupt it, the spirit well would be significantly weakened. And whatever... You know spirit wells attract horrors, that they attract specters, they attract all sorts of supernatural beings. Whatever is feeding off of it would also likely be weakened.
I think we could disrupt it, but why would we want to? It's a miracle. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know if Jareth has.
Quite honestly, I was compelled to come here because of a relation to a spirit of my own. And I was actually wondering if I could try to consort with my spirit to see if this is the reason why I was... Okay.
For sure.
All right. Ooh, a 6 and a 5. 6. I'm doing great. These are great dice.
Good, because there's some important information. What does it look like when you consort with this spirit?
Yeah, I'm going to say, I don't realize it. I think I'm just sort of sitting there being fire spirit. But my eyes 100% roll back, and all of the tattoos, the golden tattoos, they sort of faintly glow on my body. And it sort of looks like I'm lightly convulsing. But again, I have no awareness that this is happening. So I think I'm just Spirit, what's up? How you doing?
So as you enter this questionable reverie, what you all perhaps forgot was happening in all of the excitement, those 6 skeletons, they had taken a bit of a step back, but especially the younger ones, they just keep pressing in like they can't help themselves. They just want to reach for your warmth. They just want to be alive so badly. And they're just sort of pulling at you. As you do this, you don't hear but feel this bassy from Lady Ash, as if a wildfire had just rushed in the room. The skeletons stumble back a bit, maybe even fall a couple, as Lady Ash almost glows with a fire-like energy. And you hear in your mind, Lady Ash, how do I phrase this? It's bad. The spirit well's bad, and and you should feel that. You hear in your head.
I mean, it sounds like he talks like me, and that makes sense.
You get the impression that the spirit well, it's not the normal, natural occurrence of these two planes of existence crossing for a moment. It is a tear that has been created, and then someone pulled it open. It is bleeding. What should be outside is now in. What should be inside is out. And it's like you see the whole house you're in invert for a moment, turning inside out and flipping upside down. Everything is topsy-turvy. And you watch the ghost field replace your plane of reality and shove it somewhere else. And it's spreading. It is an internal bleed that is oozing from this house. The ghost field is replacing your reality through this tear, and it will take over everything. And you can feel however you feel about that. Your spirit doesn't seem to care one way or another.
Do I come out of my trance or whatnot?
You snap back to reality with no idea any of that glowy shit happened.
Oh, wow. You guys, I know there's no way for me to convince you that I just communed with the spirit, but trust me, it happened. It just happens sometimes, and it's like nothing. I don't think this is good. I feel like maybe I was drawn here because this is actively bad. I think sort of these spirits are coming into our world and sort of taking over. And Zamira, I know you like, studying things like this, but I think maybe this is bad. This is bad, and we should stop it. I think maybe better things will happen if it's stopped.
Well, I mean, why don't we agree to do a little more investigation and see where we land? Because, I mean, it's very well. What if it was our spirit well? What if we could do something with it?
But it keeps trying to take over us, right? Isn't that bad? I don't want to be taken over. I like me. I say let's stop it from taking over stuff. Maybe by closing it? That seems like... Irina, what do you think? Think maybe it's bad? I think it's bad.
I'd like to get out of the room with the hungry skeletons, and we can discuss this elsewhere.
Sure. Yep, that sounds good. Yep. Zamira, let's go, foyer, upstairs? Look upstairs?
On it.
Cool.
So the ritual is left intact?
For now.
Right? That's totally fine. Just wanted to double check.
Yeah. Does anyone have, not that we'd use it, but like a bomb or like fire or weapons?
Demolition tools.
Yeah.
Could be in your
Just
load if you want.
Academic curiosity.
When I was playing billiards, I had a memory. My servant boy, he kept trying to get into the attic of my house. I think there's a connection with the ritual in the basement.
Do you have a memory of what that attic, or sorry, not the attic, what the servant boy looked like? Would you be able to describe him to me? I'm pretty good at disguising myself as things. So I'm wondering if I could disguise myself as someone you have seen that has interacted with these spirits.
Do we have a visual of the servant boy, maybe? An impression?
You, having shared those memories so intensely, you do have a memory of the servant boy. Teenage boy, sandy brown, kind of messy hair, not great skin. He always had a sort of haunted, gaunt look about him, even though he ate perfectly well. He had worked here a couple years, seemed like a normal kid, until he started behaving quite oddly. Looked darker, looked less like himself.
I wonder if he was sort of the cause of what started all of this. What do we think? We could investigate the attic, or we could make me pretend to be the boy and go downstairs?
I think at first we should at least see what's in my attic. I do think it is important.
Okay, so I see that giving you the photo didn't really do the job. Yeah, let's go upstairs. I think that's right.
I lead the way.
You do. You lead the way and you see things upstairs exactly as you would expect to see them. The sort of landing, open and airy. It leads out to an elevated porch that overlooks this district of the city. You know your master bedroom to be on the left, the children's rooms to be on the right. There's a bath. It's quite fancy. You were very proud to have that installed. It's lovely. It's lovely up here. What you don't remember is the children's toys being left out. Nor do you expect the giggle coming from the children's rooms. Door open.
Are we getting distracted? Wait, do we all hear the giggles, or is it just him because he has the
You all
connection?
hear it.
So go to the attic.
As you're debating whether to investigate this giggle, you see a small, barely there shadow sort of peek out from around the open door, giggle again, and pull their head back.
I think we should keep going for the attic.
I said, let's go to the attic. There are like eels and skeletons in the basement, and you have a feeling about the attic.
I suppose you're right.
The stairs to the attic are behind a door. They aren't commonly used. No one's supposed to be up there anyway. You reach for the door, open it. I assume you all follow. You walk up these stairs, and you find yourself on the landing of the second floor. Toys scattered. A giggle from behind an open door.
Well, the decision's been made for us, I guess.
What are you waiting for? We have to go up to the attic. It's this way.
You're right, let's try it again.
You walk up the stairs to find yourself on the landing of the second floor. Toys spread around. A child giggles. The door to the bath creaks open. You see steam. You smell soap. There's hot water. There's cleanliness in there. You remember your master bedroom, that enormous feather bed, that roaring fireplace. It would be so nice to lay down.
Perhaps the two of you have stayed over long. Would you like to return to your homes for the night?
Oh, God, it's happening again.
I don't mean to turn you out if you wish to stay. The children, could they like to sing for guests?
Sure, could your kids sing for us before we go?
Oh,
Let's go meet the kids.
I'm sure they would love to.
Yeah, let's go meet the kids.
Maybe the kids know the way to the attic.
Yeah, there you go.
You enter the children's rooms. You could see it's two sort of decent-sized bedrooms adjoined by large double doors that are open. Two beds in this room, one bed in the next. There's a teddy bear on a bed. A child's drawing sort of left on the floor next to some colored wax sticks. And you hear a small voice singing a little nursery rhyme, hopping. You hear sort of hop of little feet. And as you glance around, you see drawn in chalk on your lovely wood floor, Irina. You'll have to talk to them about that. Drawn in chalk, hopscotch. A game most of you haven't played in decades. And you hear the little tap-tap of little feet. You see the vague shadow hopping along.
I tell them to do these things out on the walk. I don't know why they choose to torment me like this.
The shadow sees you, turns, almost seems to run over, although given its incorporeal form, it's more like it streaks over. And take your hand, Irina.
Oh, you want father to play with you? All right. I can't say no to the kids. They're so cute. Look at them.
Ash, what are we doing here? What's going on?
2 more ghost children appear.
I told you, this place is not good. We need to stop this stuff. It's taking over.
What's the move here?
Should we try to go upstairs while he's, playing with the kids?
I don't know. Should we try to fight these kids? I'm pretty lost right now.
I'm a little lost too. I don't really want to beat up a kid,
Zamira,
but I could.
the vague impression of a small hand enters yours. You look down, and you hear, in a sweet but barely there voice, "Play with us. No one plays with us. Play with us."
Will you take me to the attic if I play with you?
There is almost a shudder goes through this shadow at the mention. We're gonna have to make a roll about this because the child is scared of the attic, very obviously.
Okay.
So yeah, I would pick an action. Let me know what you want to use.
I would like to consort.
That'll work great.
With a child?
I'd say standard. This is a scared child with supernatural power. Risky position.
Okay. Does my being distracted have any effect on it? Or have you already factored that in?
For this, nah.
Great, I'm laser focused. 4.
Yeah?
Child shrinks in on itself a little bit, squeezes your hand to the degree that it can. I'll open the door. Play with us.
Okay, yeah, let's play. We'll do your game and then we'll do my game. My game's upstairs.
You feel a vague pull towards the hopscotch.
I go for it.
Can I leave the room?
Yeah, they won't stop you.
Leave the room. And then I want to disguise myself as this creepy teenager guy. Which I'm not quite sure how I do that. I have the ability when I disguise or other form of convert misdirection. I was thinking maybe I heard the voices of the skeletons downstairs, right? So did I hear the voice of the mom skeleton?
I would say vaguely. It's not like she had a whole conversation, but the vague impression of a voice.
If I have this ability, Cloak and Dagger, could I try to mimic her voice and just from the other room, just yell, "Kids, it's time for bed. Don't make me come up there," and see if I can convince them to stop playing with my friends?
Yeah?
Okay. So I get plus 1d to confuse or deflect suspicion, and I'm guessing I'm trying to sway them. So would that be, I can do 3 dice if I have 2 in sway?
Yeah?
Yeah. 10. Oh, yay! So 1, a 4, and a 6.
Okay. There's a collective, I want to say intake of breath, but they don't breathe. There's a collective pause in these 3 small shadows. And they whisk away very suddenly, pulling back, like children scrambling to do their chores at the last second. And they all pull back from you into that second room of theirs beyond. No longer interested in playing, interested in going to bed.
I'm just going to poke my head around and be like, "Hey guys, are they gone?"
Yeah, they were going. We were gonna play.
Yeah,
But that was that you? That was a good.
Thanks.
That was good.
Yeah, I'm good at
Honey?
impressions. Yeah. No. It's me again. Okay, well, you guys were worrying me a little bit there. You seemed really into playing with the kids. So, but I don't know how to get to the attic now without their help, but I also don't want to lose you guys to this house. So, I don't know what to do. Maybe get one of the kids to come out here. We could all maybe handle one kid's influence.
Zamira, you rolled that 4, and I've been holding on to it.
Mm-hmm.
You really feel bad. You feel bad that they've had to go to bed. They haven't played in so long. Maybe there's something you could do. There's something you could do to cheer them up.
Who knows how long it's been since I was playing with these kids? Plus, I mean, they're kind of a cool specter as well. Maybe I'll go play hopscotch. If they want it. I can hop and top.
You do that, and the small specters notice this adult indulging their game. You hear some small giggles from the other room, peeking their heads around. You hear that little nursery rhyme again, sort of chanting. And then a sigh as the littlest one who had held your hand whispers as you complete the hopscotch.
Daddy, keep the key. It's in Daddy's room.
Daddy, it's in your room.
It's in my room.
Let's go to your room.
Good night, little one. And I'm gonna leave if I can.
You can.
I do so.
Irina, you know the way to your room.
It's just across the hall.
Sure is. The door swings open without you even touching it. You see the big feather bed, beautiful rug, four-poster bed. Windows, not to let in light so much as just visibility. Crackling fire, comfy chairs, bottle of wine is open. You're having such a nice night in.
We're here for the key. I will slap you again.
But what did I say?
Yeah, I saw you looking at the wine. I saw you looking at the bed. We're not done with this plan. Hey, you're you. We're here for a key.
Lady Ash, do you start looking for the key?
Yeah, I'll start looking for the key. I'll use a study.
I would like to help, because I'll also go rifling.
Okay. As you are looking for this key, I will say, man, it is getting late, isn't it? Getting late. You are just so tired. You this tired before? So tired. Lady Ash, you're exhausted. As you're leaning over this bed, sort of moving things around, looking, keys. You need a nap. Oh, you need sleep, and this bed looks lovely.
Well, it's been a long time since I've slept in a really nice bed.
Hey!
Here, what?
Game face. What are you going to the bed like that?
No, he's the one. I already told him he can't nap, but I'm fine. I'm just a little tired.
Lady Ash, you can choose to resist, or you can take a nap.
I'll try to resist. No, I'm gonna resist. All right.
Okay, what kind of...
I'll resist with resolve, and my highest is a 2. 2. My first
You
bad
take
roll.
4 points of stress in order to resist.
Woo-hoo-hoo. 2, 3, 4. I've still got 3 left.
Jesus, it's gonna be awesome. It is...
Okay,
it
all right.
is
Oh, no.
a feat of willpower not to close your eyes. You're afraid to blink because you will fall asleep.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm awake.
Now
I'm
you
awake.
can look for the key.
I'm looking for the key.
Too late, unhelpfully, this resist experience has already happened. I'm like, I mean, it's a you thing, right? And I also slap you in the face.
Yeah, geez. Okay.
Rifling.
We're like if the Three Stooges were witches. That's what I think this is, sort of.
Okay, Zamira, are you also looking for the key?
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Only one person can make this roll, so one of you will have to assist the other, and whoever assists takes a stress.
I'll assist. I have a lot of stress room left.
Oh, okay. Then I will study. So I'll use
Okay.
2 because I have 1. Okay. Don't do me dirty again. Well, I got a 6 again. It's this one. It's
Nice.
this guy.
Wow.
Although it did give me a 2 last time, but it's given me like 4 6s.
Yeah, bedside drawer. Exactly where you'd expect it to be. A key on a silver chain. It's one of those big beefy keys, too. So you are welcome to head back to the stairs. Now, there is a door. It wasn't locked. The stairs just didn't lead upstairs. You want to try the key?
Sure, yeah.
It's strange. As soon as you insert the key, the door is locked. I don't know why you thought it was open. Been locked the whole time. Swings open for the first time. You see some stairs.
I'll go up.
Let's show.
Great.
I'm awake. What else am I doing?
How you doing, Irina?
The attic. I remember there was something in the attic. She's like fighting. She's sort of going in and out of this is her house and this isn't.
Mm-hmm. The stairs creak under you. Who's going first?
I think I am just because I used the key.
Mm-hmm. You step up and it's bright. You almost have to shield your eyes and let them adjust. I mean, the house has been well lit for Duskvol, but it's all just sconces with lamps, fireplaces. This is a brightness I don't know that you've ever experienced. It is light that almost has sound ringing out. It's like you could feel it radiating. And as you take the last step, you see a well of light. It's beautiful, it's rippling. It's like someone dropped a pebble in water, but the water is light. That blue electroplasmic energy that runs from the basement to the attic is pulsing like a heart. Just pulsing in and out. And stepping through is a tall, almost human shape made from threads of that same flickering energy. But it isn't. It's the face of your childhood best friend. It's the face of your father in the one moment you think he was proudest of you. It's the face of Irina. It's the face of you. And each of you are experiencing this flickering, confusing amalgamation of memory and reality and spirit and the past and the present, and it is reaching out to you, and each of you hear the one thing that you couldn't possibly turn away from the one person you would have to respond to. Lady Ash, who is it that you see, and what are they saying?
For me, it is someone who was my closest confidant when I was still working as sort of the go-between some of the noble houses in Eruvia. I had one person who was sort of my main employer who had sort of trained me in becoming the powerful person I was between all the nobles there. And when they discovered my relationship with my fire spirit, they were the ones who had me exiled. And that always hurt the most, not just because they were the person that made me who I was, but it was because I thought they were someone that understood my connection with other realms of being, and it hurt professionally and emotionally when they shunned me in all matters.
That comes rushing back to you as that mentor is standing in front of you, ringed with light, like a halo, reaching out a hand. I didn't understand. I'm sorry. Come home.
I start reaching out my hand, absolutely.
Irina, what do you see?
She sees her father, who taught her everything that she knows about spycraft, and whose loss was the biggest trauma and sacrifice she suffered during the war.
What's he saying?
He's saying, "Darling, I'm here. I'm back. Come visit me. Come spend time with me. I miss you."
Zamira, who steps through?
I think Zamira the Elder, my grandmother, who we had a shared love of of learning about the mystical and the spiritual, but maybe like Irina, she had a distaste for how I grew into it in a more arrogant and perhaps self-interested manner of exploration rather than the reverence that I was raised of.
She's holding out her arms. I'm so proud of you. You're so bright. I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna need each of you to make a resistance roll to not lose your memories of the person you just described. Forever.
Oh, God! That's awful. How does the resistance roll work again?
3.
6.
4. Failure, a mixed success, and a success.
Lady Ash. This mentor reaching out their hand, saying you were right, you should come home, they're sorry. That happened, didn't it? Didn't that happen? Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Like recently.
Sure.
You're going home. They've brought a carriage. You're going to ride home all the way.
Oh,
You can talk. You can fill them in.
in class. I love it.
You are, for now, incapacitated, and your memories of this person, of the reality of this person, are trickling away, or draining away by the moment. Irina, this isn't real. But what if it was? What if it could be real? What if it could be real? Who's to say this isn't real? It's just as real as anything else you've experienced in your life. You see it, you hear it, you feel it. I'm going to say the next time you choose to resist, I'm going to take away a die.
Okay.
You hold on by your tip of your fingernails your true memories of this person. You know it isn't real, but it is extremely tempting to let it be real. Zamira, your grandmother would never have said that to you. She was a proud woman, and she never missed words. She would tell you she was proud of you if she was proud of you. If she doesn't like what you're doing, she's not going to say it. This isn't real.
No way.
And as you, Zamira, sort of mentally pull back from this, that screech, you heard it earlier. That screech, not the scream from the memory, but the reaction and anger when you resisted influence comes back, and it, again, you feel like your ears are going to split. It is so loud, and it shakes you. And this thing is going to attempt to grab you. But this is all happening very fast, and if one of you wants to do something first, you have a moment.
I don't think there's an action, but I would love to have that this brings some more immediate clarity to the situation at hand as well to Zamira. And I've got Lady Ash in my head saying, the house is bad and you should feel bad. And I have, not acting on it, but I'm having a greater moment, Zamira the Elder wouldn't say that. And anything that would present her like that is not something I want to be part of.
I think Irina is that temptation has sort of jolted her back away from the presence of the former house occupants, because that bid was sort of made to Irina the person. So she's a little bit in her own persona again, and I think she's seeing Lady Ash kind of in a role reversal in the same place she was in the billiards room. She wants to sort of push back spiritually against this force in this room, like she did with the skeletons, just sort of like get it away from her allies.
Mm-hmm. What kind of action roll do you want to make?
I still think it would be attune, if that makes sense for you.
Attune is a good choice for this being, so I'm going to say standard effect. But this is a desperate position.
Yeah. I'm going to take 2 stress and push myself. I have a little more room for stress on here.
Okay.
Nice.
Go up to 3 die.
You can take the 3 die, or I can move you to risky position.
I want the better odds of the 3 die, I think.
Okay.
I like rolling more squares.
Math rocks are the best.
Okay. I know I've been rolling pretty hot tonight. I'm pulling the camera down. I'm turning off the green
Yes.
screen.
Critical.
Did you get another critical?
This is, can we see the 2 6s here?
Hell yeah,
on
we
my
can.
sheet?
Nice.
Nice. There you go. What does it look like? What are either internally or what others see, Irina? What are you doing?
She's been pretty, sedate and like sort of, not to say mousy, but she's very quiet. She's very internal, except for when she has to attune and sort of put her own presence out there. I think she steps forward. One hand lands on Lady Ash's shoulder. The other hand kind of strikes out with an open palm. There's maybe some of that same spectral electricity kind of crackling around her own fingertips. And the wind machine has turned on. The cape, the coat is kind of blowing back. The hair is blowing back. And in a voice that's very resonant and reverberating, again with the single word command, she looks straight into this spectral light and she just says, "Stop!"
Lady Ash, in honor of the critical, you are shaken from this false memory.
Oh.
In fact, you know it's a false memory. It hurts you a great deal to have that realization, and you are still shaking off this reality you were living in, but you are free to act as this creature with another screech almost seems to pull back, retreating a bit to the safety of this spirit well behind it.
Thank you, I think. Oh.
I'm with you. This is bad. I've still got a lot of notes. So, and that win, regardless, but we should do something about this.
The spirit well continues to pulse. The being seems to be gathering itself. Its light almost flickered for a moment, but as it steps back into the well, it's like it is re-energized, and it is moving forward again. You get the sense that the well is feeding it.
Are there runes up here like there were downstairs? Or anything that looks mechanically significant to the flow of energy, as it were?
Mm-hmm. Now that you look around, you were so blinded by the bright light and the immediate assault on your memories. But the spirit well sits in a sort of a strange mashup of what you know, Zamira, and what you know, Irina. There are mechanisms almost encircling it, creating a sort of oval shape that it sits within. Think steampunky, lots of copper wires, lots of gaskets sort of going off, and carved into them, and then carved again into the floor in a circle, are runes, the same sort of pattern of runes you saw below. The energy pulses like a heart, and the creature is going to step forward again, angrier now. It is going to swipe. Let's see. It's not too pleased with Irina taking its play toy. I think it wants Lady Ash back. It worked once, why wouldn't it work again?
Who wouldn't?
The hand of your mentor, the rest of you see this sort of trail of energy reach out toward Lady Ash, as if gentle, and then at the last second, scraping across your face. It's going to try to hurt you. Would you like to do something about that?
Yeah. You know what? I'll push myself to get 1 die, and I'll use my happy die, and I'm going to try to use finesse to sort of avoid it.
Okay,
But I've got
take a point of
nothing
stress.
in there. Taking my stress to use my 1 die. Oh, it's outside the thing. That doesn't count. The 6. I like
It's
this
gonna be like a 1 or something.
So back.
Okay. It misses entirely, and it has been forced to step forward a bit out of this well of energy. It's much less charming now, and as you step away, that image of your mentor flickers. You already knew it wasn't real, but for a moment it's like you could see the void of hungry light underneath.
I guess parallel to that, while it's maybe focused on getting Lady Ash back, I would like to use my skirmish to try to disrupt some part of whatever mechanism is at play here. I would like to push myself to do it. I want to physically try to dismantle some amount of the gaskets or the copper wire,
Great,
the scratch off a rune, whatever. I'm just gonna try to,
Hell yeah.
pulling something apart is easier than putting something together. So I'm just gonna try to. But the camera hears Zamira going, I can't believe I'm doing this. So I'm getting it there.
I'd say because it's distracted, this will have standard effect and it's a risky position.
Okay, 5.
Are you using any sort of tool, or are you just sort of pulling at this thing?
Yeah, I'll take a hammer. I think I'd have some amount. There's tinkering tools in this list. I think I've got like a wire cutter and a needle nose plier that I have around for doing whatever tinkering I need to do. And I'm just clipping and pulling.
You definitely pull at something important. There is a large spark. Mark that off. You have a clock going. There's a large spark as some very important copper-plated wires are yanked from place. There is a wobble in this wall of energy that travels through it. Something flickers for a moment. The spirit well within this ring of mechanism shrinks just a bit.
You're welcome, Grandma.
This creature is going to reach for Irina, knowing your mind is fertile ground for perhaps flipping your identity on its head a bit.
I don't think there's any vacancy left. We're all booked
It's busy
up.
up there. It reaches forward forcefully now. This is not the gentle hand reaching out. This is a forceful fingers prying into your mind itself. What does it grab and attempt to wrench from your sense of identity?
I think maybe an option is after the war, after she sort of was broken and became so much more attuned to the supernatural, she spent a long time learning how to transform that from a fear and a source of weakness into a weapon that she can use on her own terms. And that's what she's using against this thing. So maybe it's trying to sort of strip her of her confidence and competence with that field and kind of turn her back into someone who's afraid of ghosts.
These spectral fingers reach into your mind and claw at your memories of that war and the many, many ghosts and specters and devils and horrors that you encountered. And attempts with these fingers to warp them and twist them into something else. You remember how hard your heart beat. You remember the sweat pouring down your back, how you couldn't catch your breath. You've never been brave in your life. You've been terrified every moment of your life. You can either take another dice away from the next time you resist, or you can attempt to resist again with one less dice than you would, because you already lost one, if that makes sense.
Yes, I want to resist this now, in the moment, with one fewer die.
Okay. That sounds like resolve to me.
Okay, so I have 2 in resolve, so I'll drop it down to 1.
Yep.
Okay, I don't have that much stress available left. Let's see. That's a 2, so I'm going to take 4 stress.
You take 4 stress.
Ooh.
That's very bad. I would say that the amount of stress I have left on my track is 1.
Ooh.
You're only 1 worse than me.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is all happening. It's distracted at the moment, trying to eat Irina's brain. Zamira has just pulled at some wires. Let's check in on Lady Ash and see how you're doing.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, step back for a second, and I'm going to say I have a lantern, and I want to throw it in to where all the mechanism stuff is and see if that
Cool.
causes problems.
You light this oil lantern and you toss it into the mechanism?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of action do you want to make this?
And I'm assisting. I have stress.
Okay. I guess I'm going to do wreck.
Nice.
That sounds like wreck to me.
Yeah, and I have to take 1, so I'm going to take 1 stress because I have 0 in it, and then if you're going to help me, I'll get 2 die, so. Okay.
Or is there a devil's bargain I can think of?
Is there a devil's bargain you can
Already
think of?
done. It's already done.
2, I got a 1 and a 2.
Oh.
Well, you do start a fire. It's not where you wanted. The mechanism seems completely unaffected, and there is a small fire catching on the dry wood of this attic.
Cool.
Good try. Good try.
It'll take a minute for it to
Good
really
hustle.
catch and start spreading,
Yeah.
but there's, oil fire.
Gotta look at what I can do that actually I have things in. Alright.
Can you tell me how flashback works again, please?
I would love to do something that's like still in the course. Does it have to be before the heist?
Look, the guy who wrote the game isn't here, so I'm going to say if you just want to have done something in the house, sure.
Yeah, well, I would just love to, have done some on my initial bargain, walking away from that bargain. What I understood was that I would be able to make a spirit well. That does mean, I think, that if I took some time to really work through that in my mind, I might be able to unmake a spirit well.
I'm going to say it's not that unlikely that you would have thought this through, but this is new information that was forced into your brain, so I'm going to make it cost 1 stress to have reverse engineered this, and then we're going to do an action roll to see how well you mentally reverse engineered it in the 1 hour you've been in this house.
Great, okay. That seems like a study to me, which I have 1, but I'm also going to push myself, if that sounds good.
Because if this works, you will have the information to end this now. I'm going to say great effect, but it's desperate position.
I am distracted as well. And electrocuted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it stands. So how many dice would you have?
I'd have 1, and then, we're in end game, so I'm pushing myself to have another.
Okay.
So I have 2.
Yeah, if this works, it's going to work great. If it doesn't work, you are going to take another level of psychic harm as that little well of darkness in your brain grows, which means a level 2 harm because you fill up on level 1.
Okay. So do I have 2?
Yeah, take 2 dice. I want you to have a chance at this.
Do it, Zamira. You got
Okay.
this.
You got this.
Okay.
I want it to work.
Beautiful mind scene.
Yep.
4.
Hey, 4 is
Nothing
mixed
worse.
success. That'll get you something. And I said if it works, it would work great.
Hey.
So, I'm gonna say take the complication here is just you're not focused for a moment and you are focused internally. Your stress is going to tick up again. You're going to take another point of stress. But you see in your mind, beautiful mind style, floating in front of you, the logic of it all. It's like the marriage of spectrology and occult. It is science and art. It's music. And it is beautiful and floating right in front of you. And you know exactly how to break it. The mechanism is important. The mechanism allows the flow of energy. But the runes open the gate. Now, you could take the time to scrub out enough runes that it falls. Or you could add the correct runes to close it.
Ooh.
It might take a little bit, a few seconds, which in this circumstance is kind of a long time. But if you got down there on the floor and added the right runes in the right place, the whole thing would just collapse inward.
For sure. Zamira just drops to the floor and says, "Watch my back!"
This all took a couple seconds. Irina, what are you up to?
I think that something I could do would sort of be to try to hold its attention so that it's not noticing what Zamira is doing. Maybe that is not that I have any dice in any of that stuff, but that's what comes to mind.
I like your plan because I can jump in and doing something similar.
You could disguise yourself as the servant boy.
I could.
Now's the time.
You know,
Okay.
Now's the time. I'll do that. I'll disguise myself as the servant boy. Well, here, you do your thing first, and then I'll do the thing.
So I think I would maybe something like sway. Maybe it's sort of trying to flip and calling to it, confusing it. I do still have shreds of the master of the house within me, who I believe is the person who created the spirit well. So maybe there's speaking in his voice, trying to sort of lure this entity to be off guard.
What do you say? How do you act?
I say, it's all right. There's no need to get upset. It's me. I'm back. I made you. I have nothing in sway, so I'm fully prepared to take the worst of 2 dice.
Okay. I'm going to say standard effect, risky position.
Sure. This is not going to go good. It's a 3, yeah.
We were rolling so well until the end game.
Yeah.
The thing does turn to you. It does give you its full attention. And in return, it laughs in your face as you attempt to trick something that exists on a psychic level. And you feel the spirit of what you were trying to mimic being pulled up through this house like a puppet, and then thrust into your mind, trying to force you out of your own body. You're gonna have to resist being possessed or share your body with the spirit of the man of the house, who seems to answer, whether by his will or not, this creature.
I can't help without becoming traumatized.
Yeah, I can't resist without taking on trauma. I do. I mean, for Endgame, I'm not mad at sharing a presence with Professor Ghostly. I mean, he hasn't seemed to. He made a spirit well. Controversial, yes. Totally irredeemable. That's for the courts to decide. You know, like he hasn't been
for sure.
has not been
Misunderstood in
mean
his
to
time.
us. Yeah. I think Zamira
We're a
would maybe
family.
be- Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think, and also it leaned in and indulged a lot in the Irina has like a weird connection to this thing, so I think it's totally fitting. I think now he's got the keys to her brain, and it's a little bit up to him what he does with them.
Cool.
Your mind very suddenly becomes so crowded. An entire other person's, perhaps faded and worn at the edges, but personality, memories, life experiences are in your brain, and they aren't yours, and you keep bumping up against them, and you can't quite access or use them like you do your own, but they sure are taking up space. And from now on, whenever you want to act, you are first going to have to do a straight luck roll with a single d6, and if it is a 2 or lower, your passenger is going to act instead.
Daddy's choice.
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Let's see, Lady Ash, what were you up to?
Can I encourage Zamira with sway? That's not how that works.
Yeah, that seems like a teamwork thing to me. You're basically you're setting her up for success, right?
Yeah.
So describe to me how you set her up for success.
Zamira, I am so sorry because I know that I've sort of butted heads with you a little bit. I know you were so excited by all of the research possibilities of this place, and I know that maybe I wasn't very encouraging about what you wanted to do with this adventure, but I understand that it is exactly that type of curiosity in you that is going to make you capable of putting a stop to what's going on right now, because you love to learn and you love to do good, and I believe in you. Can I roll?
Love it. And you wanted to make, was this sway?
This is sway,
Great.
and I got a 6.
Let's go.
Awesome. Zamira, you are going to take an extra die in your next attempt to disrupt the spirit well.
Incredible.
Speaking of, we haven't heard from you in a bit. What are you up to over there?
Well, as you do that, I'm on the floor trying to write these additional runes. Don't even look up, but just say, "Love you like a sister." And
This is going to require some sort of action roll.
yeah, the application of study, suitable use of study.
I could see study. Yeah, I think there's a strong argument to be made for study.
Okay.
We already established if this works, the whole thing collapses. So that's great effect. But it's still a risky position, because if you fail it, I'm even going to say desperate position. If you fail at this creature is going to turn to you, and it is going to do something about the problem you are creating.
Fair enough. I mean, I can't think of something more desperate than all of us being one stress off from ending scene. So, fair enough. Okay, I have 2 dice. Please, God.
I've never had a TPK.
And you won't.
Me either.
6. 2 and 6. Are we seeing that?
Incredible. I want you to describe for me, because you're the one pushing this button. I want you to describe for me what we see on the big movie screen as this all unfolds.
I think you see Zamira's on the floor writing runes. You know, she's internalized the coaching that she got from Lady Ash about curiosity winning the day, and she's thinking about how the master of this house let it go in the wrong direction, and I'm here to clean that up. She's also thrilled that she still got the knowledge out of this, so she's gonna get to walk away. Put the runes in the floor, and seeing like when there's like a bunch of different like lineup of bulbs and they burst all in a row and sparks coming out, I think there's just a cascading domino as the runes disappear and the system is unmade.
You carve that last rune, those sparks of light ignite. The spirit well swirls in on itself, collapsing. That scream again shakes the whole house as if the house itself is screaming. The entity behind you now rips over your head, almost through you. You feel that psychic push as it is warped back to the ghost field, as is the entire reality you're standing in. The inverted ghost field versus physical plane that you've been perhaps unknowingly walking around in is very suddenly flipped, each reality forcing its way through each other. You're nearly sick. Each of you, if you have a sensitive stomach, you hurl a little bit. It's like being tossed around on a roller coaster for a moment. Or a very bad carriage ride. And you are on your hands and knees retching in a dusty, decrepit, abandoned attic. In a still, musty, perfectly quiet home. The wreckage of a mechanical contraption lies around you. Broken runes scratched out on the floor as if broken from the inside. Irina, that pressure in your mind, it's still there. Perhaps the only immediate evidence that any of this even occurred. And you feel ideas brewing as a tendril of thought tentatively reaches out, as if starting a conversation. And I guess you'll have to find out if you can live this way, or how long you can live this way. We're going to fast forward a bit now. What do each of you do in the days, or weeks, or months, or the rest of your life, however far out you'd like this montage to go? What does the future look like for you?
I think I'm going to sort of reevaluate. I very much valued, my information and being involved in what knowledge could get me more power or more influence in the different aspects of the city. But I'm going to realize that's all a little much for me and clearly has burned me in the past. And I think Brielle and I are going to maybe start working together a little bit more. And I'm going to get a little more comfortable with mushrooms. And maybe just get a little more involved in sort of like the psychedelic dealing of the underground. And sort of like letting people sort of come to terms with their memories and their pasts through, maybe some substances that can help them unlock parts of themselves they didn't know existed. So quite a change for Lady Ash.
Lady Ash becomes a benevolent drug dealer. Everyone is looking for a little escapism, so plenty of work.
I think for Irina, obviously she's at an interesting crossroads with this new presence in her head, but I like to think that it could potentially open her up to a richer and more interesting friendship with Zamira. Her initial attitude being that spectrology was sort of a bit of a crock. Now she has a leading spectrologist in her mind, is going to force her to radically reassess her opinions. She might even, be more inclined to. I imagine you're doing things like continuing to research the spirit well and the work that we saw in the house. Well, I have a really good source on a lot of that info, so maybe that becomes a bit of a project for us together.
Yeah, I love that. I think Zamira uncharacteristically did not go and brag and show off right away. and go, even though she would love to, because she's working with Dr. Irina about, as she said, furthering the study and, in the long game about what's possible here. So I don't know if she learned a valuable lesson about the danger of curiosity, but she learned a lesson about biding her time a little bit more.
A fascinating new partnership is born. I would say, Zamira, you do notice Irina occasionally, it's like she's in the middle of something or going to do something and suddenly changes her mind or forgets what she was doing. It's quite strange. But, the absent-minded professor vibe kind of works. And if anyone is interested, I don't know what sort of reverence you might feel for that home. As you traveled back through it, it looked like it had been untouched for decades, full of dust, but undisturbed. Many, 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 many things worth quite a lot of coin laid in that house. If you felt moved to take anything or pawn it or do something with it, there'd be no one to stop you.
If the master of the house had any suggestions about what was going to be the most conducive to our further research, I would be deferring to him there and going through it for sure.
Irina had some opinions as well. We deserve to pay our bills after all we've been through.
Yeah.
But I'd probably take anything very pretty and shiny.
There's plenty. There's a whole wardrobe from the lady of the house if you're interested.
Ooh, anything red. I'll take anything red or gold.
She has a couple of really nice red dresses. Plenty of gold jewelry.
Oh yeah, looks great with my tattoos. Yeah.
Irina, as we pan out from here and sort of pull back, looking over this dusk-filled, smoke-covered city. That voice in your head, it's polite, it's doing its best with what you could spare, but it misses its family. And they want to live too. Maybe there's something to be done about it. That's where we'll end.
Woo!
Yay! That was awesome.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you have